Why, hello, everyone.
Oh, hi, Nathan.
Hello. Happy 2023, everyone.
Hey.
Whoa.
Only going up from here.
And I know that this episode will come out well into 2023.
I was going to say, this is going to come out in like February.
Yes, indeed. But this is more an example of how far in advance sometimes some of our recordings are. But for us, it is 2023, gosh darn it. And so I would like to ask, and I think I maybe did this last year as well. But what's everyone's characters' New Year's resolutions? I don't want your dumb human flesh resolutions. What does your character want in whatever the fantasy equivalent of the year 2023 is?
So both mine and Checkers.
Wait. I just realized.
Yes.
You should use this as you introducing yourselves for the podcast. I am Jonathan playing Checkers.
Hi, everyone.
And my resolution.
I'm Checkers playing Jonathan today.
Perfect.
And both my New Year's resolution and Checkers' New Year's resolution is to eat more dumb things.
Hell yeah.
And I was thinking this earlier because I, as a human being, was thinking about like using more fresh herbs and spices. And I, as Checkers, was thinking about how everything we've faced so far just like disappears into the ether
and true.
Doesn't leave behind anything for Checkers to eat afterwards.
That's true.
So I think for both of us, it's like, why don't we just eat more dumb things? And that sounds
It's
great.
really been the hell lobsters are the last
Yeah,
thing.
right.
Yeah.
Episode 1, hell lobsters.
Well-
That's it. Now it's been like spooky spirits and like dumb bones.
Counterpoint,
Uh-huh.
in my defense, you could have easily gone cannibalistic and eaten some grung.
Yeah, good point.
So if we're just
I don't know if
throwing
that's, like-
stones here.
Well, you
Vibes
did eat
really
the
want
weird
No, it's not,
fruit.
but-
I mean, I don't know if you. I'm assuming Checkers did.
He tried. He tried and exploded on him.
Oh, that's right.
Mhm.
Oh, I meant
the grung fruit.
the grung
that was,
fruit.
that was
yeah,
slowly
yeah.
changing people.
Mhm.
Guys,
making
is this
them
a clip episode?
we didn't get too far with that one, but yeah, that's my New Year's resolution.
Okay.
Hey, remember
I'll
the
write- I'll write
time
that down.
that
Yeah.
Hi, everyone. I'm Sophie, and I play Valeska Carter, the human astrotic cleric of the Arcana domain. And Val's New Year's resolution is a 53-page outline describing the community calendar she's put together for the guild and all the events she's hosting. So her resolution is really just to pull that off without a hitch.
Wow.
Just very
All right.
casually, while also
Ooh.
being a full-time
she has,
adventurer.
Yeah.
Val has signed us all up for GuildCon, and
Yeah.
we will have a panel.
Yeah.
I mean, this all started with Salve and Cass starting the community self-defense.
That's
so
true.
this is really
The morning yoga. Yeah, this is the
Yeah.
extension of that.
Yeah.
Hi, everyone. My name is Steve, and I am playing Selv Asterlin, the Dragonborn monk. Let's see. Selv's New Year's resolutions. Meet more dragons.
Okay, fair
Yeah.
enough.
So
Yeah, this is reasonable.
I think we're slowly moving in the right direction. The first dragon that he met was already dead and was just a skull in a plaza. The second dragon was alive, but on another plane of existence.
Yep.
So didn't really get to do too much of an interaction. However, that is still better than the interaction he had with the dead dragon.
True.
In
Moving
the
up.
plaza. So we're moving in the right direction. I think as long as we kind of keep moving forward that way, that will be Selv's New Year's resolution.
Excellent.
I feel like there's a lot that has to go right in order for that to happen. Like, 1, not dead. 2, on this plane. Like, there's some things that have to align for Selv to meet a dragon.
Well-
But that's like just manifesting. Like, we're
true.
putting that
Yeah.
out into the world.
That's true. And I
Or-
didn't say they needed to be good resolutions. Just
or
what are they?
a dragon that is on this plane for longer that Selv can then have a conversation with, and then
Mm-hmm. Hi, everyone. I'm David, and I play Cascarin Brightmane, the Dwarven Warlock. And for some reason, the only thing that I can think of for Cascarin's New Year's resolution is to climb a mountain.
Ooh,
And
okay.
like it.
Well, like, because there's a bunch of cool mountains in Ryxia,
Yeah.
and we obviously haven't seen any of them yet. But like,
No?
I want to go climb one.
Yeah,
That
okay.
sounds
I love
cool.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. My goal is to kill you all. So easy. Great. And
Rock salt. All right, see y'all.
Our characters, right?
don't tell me how to live.
Well, look at the time.
Good. And good news, everyone. Apropos of that New Year's resolution, boy, have the 4 of your characters really got a wondrous treat ahead of you, because like you have the opportunity to grovel at the feet of the Holy Promethean, the Shambling Saint, he who walks amongst us, the first saint of this new age. That's cool, right? Boy, the lack of enthusiasm around this table
Yeah.
is palpable.
I believe last time it was described as the undead shambling mound.
I would say not in a literal sense, but in like a physicality kind of vibe sense. Certainly, it is a several story high undead humanoid creature.
Did we see the creature, or we just saw the 2 riders?
You saw the 2 riders, and then the creature kind of crested the hill. And it was that was the end of the episode.
Gotcha.
I have a very specific and very dumb idea for how I want this encounter to go.
Great.
And unfortunately, groveling was not as part of that. So my disappointment is immeasurable.
David, I really got to sell you on the groveling option. Is 10 out of 10 cultists have all agreed groveling is absolutely the move for 2023.
I mean, we're keeping an open mind here, I guess.
Yeah.
It's the big question is for Val's turning. Do you automatically destroy skeletons yet?
Not yet.
It's based off of CR. Let me
okay.
tell you.
Gotcha.
Let me tell you, it's not going to be a CR 1/2
Sorry.
skeleton.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm thinking back to when it was based off of creature type and
Nope.
not,
Oh, man.
So, yeah, it's a skeleton. It could be 800 feet tall, but it's still a skeleton, so therefore you automatically destroy it.
Technically, everyone has a skeleton inside them. So
Yeah,
you can
that's
really
true.
just turn
But
all
but it
that.
is not
God.
an undead skeleton.
Could you
at the point
imagine
that it's-
just a level 7 cleric or whatever, just casting Turning Undead and making every living creature turn to jelly around
Yeah,
within a
just like-
30-foot radius of them?
Turning your skeletons into dust.
Right.
You're like, wow. all
Just
right.
No,
run
thank
away
you.
in the other direction. Just
No.
cry themselves out. All right, we're not a horror podcast. We can't keep.
Can't keep going with this.
Any dang way. The 4 of you have been traveling through the wilderness of Ryxia alongside the Fortunate, the undead centurion from the Red City of Agmar. You are finally only a couple days away from your first kind of main destination before you head onto the next portion of your journey to track down Lorana Moonglove, the strange sorceress.
Hey everyone, we're almost there. The only thing that could possibly get in our way right now is a colossal, shambling skeleton that couldn't possibly just crest its head over the...
We're never
Oh
gonna.
boy.
And so, you guys are feeling good. Like Self said, wow, what could possibly... We faced down so much nonsense the last couple of days. We rediscovered objects of focus. We've learned, so we saw a friggin' dragon. We did all kinds of crazy stuff. There was an airship like 3 days ago, and that alone was crazy. And yeah, these 2 riders, clad in black, came up to you and really stressed how truly lucky the 5 of you were to be in the forthcoming presence and soon to be in potentially even the good favor of a saint. What? Saints that haven't been on Ryxia in hundreds, if not thousands of years. Wow, that's like, what an incredible opportunity this is. I wonder what this person might be.
And I have a quick question. Just historically speaking, since the saints have
Yes.
left, have there been people that have claimed that more saints have shown up and
Absolutely.
and in general, are they seen as like a little kind of out there?
This specific instance is a weird example, but throughout the centuries, there's always been some kook or cult or very powerful creature or being or whatever that have been like, I'm a saint. You should worship me and give me your money and devotion. So it's not an uncommon thing.
Okay.
And you guys would know they always run somewhere between just a load of horseshit that is essentially snake oil salesman all the way to very dangerous unhinged individual and organization. And let's see what this is.
Quick question.
Absolutely.
This is going to sound insensitive. Is there like a checklist like the Catholic Church has for sainthood?
So yes,
Okay.
Without going into
I
detail,
believe not
it,
undead might be number one on there, but
I don't know.
is that essentially everyone agrees that there just are no more saints. It's just kind of the like going logic is that first of all, did you exist like 1,000 years ago? That's one check. But there were kind of a degree of like proving, but at the same time, a lot of people kind of retroactively became known as saints, and it kind of became a little bit of a colloquialism of most people who were very powerful would identify themselves or be identified as a saint.
Gotcha.
Either willingly, after the fact, whatever.
Okay.
And especially by the end of kind of the era of saints, like you were or weren't a saint. Like even people who were like, I don't really care too much about that kind of structure, were still like, yeah, but I am a saint, you know? So yes, generally speaking.
Okay.
Checkers is going to lean his head a little bit closer towards Val and just be like, hey, Val, were all the saints this cool?
The saints were way cooler.
Boy, that had some like not literally because this is not Val, but had some real like oh my god, what's it called? Like youth group pastor vibes.
I was about to be like, slide checkers a saint. Like
Yeah, right. A
workbook.
little cool pamphlet. It's like, you know who the coolest guy of all was? Jesus.
And Checkers is just imagining, like, the past, 1,000 years ago, just all these giant skeletons walking around the earth. Like, oh, wow.
Man, it used to be way cooler around here. So, in front of you, of course, are again these two black-clad riders who are on big horses and seem to be in a degree of kind of robes and finery. But, obviously, very quickly, your eye is caught to the horizon, for cresting over a hill is a giant skeletal creature. First glance, you would say it would be at least 40 feet tall. Maybe higher. It's kind of hunched. And the reason that it is hunched is twofold. One, around its neck is a kind of collar of some sort. Seems to be, iron or something. And streaming down are dozens of ropes and chains being held by individuals also wearing black robes, most of whom are also carrying what appear to be censers for incense, kind of those little pots where you see, and they're just swinging them back and forth, and smoke is kind of billowing up from them. And the other thing, which is making this large, again, mostly skeletal, there are some unfortunate hunks of connected flesh attached, is that it is also pulling a large, not a cart, more like a kind of a large flat wooden base.
Like a toboggan kind of thing?
Kind
or
of.
like a moving platform.
Yes, exactly. And
Like a mobile stage.
yes, mobile stage is the perfect descriptor of it, that has legitimately a small house on it. And in front of this house is a large chair just sitting kind of at the edge of it, where you can see one figure sitting as this large creature is dragging this platform and stage forward.
I'm going to turn to the Fortunate and just ask,
Is that one tethered and or one of yours?
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
That's reassuring.
Yeah,
Good to know.
yeah.
Or not know.
And
Not
just
good
like
to
you can
not
see,
know.
the Fortunate is just like craned back with all of its armor, just like clearly looking up at this huge creature.
Val is racking her brain for. There's a lot of questions.
Yeah, no, fair.
I think first question would be, is there any way this skeletal creature is actually a saint? She's not going to throw out that possibility. She's going to investigate it and explore it.
Is there anything particular you're, like, trying to suss out?
I think given the scene you described, she's wondering if the person seated behind the skeleton is responsible for animating it.
Yeah.
And is wondering, like, is the creature sentient and, like, self-aware and, I don't know how to say this, self-responsible? Like,
yeah, totally.
Or is somebody controlling it?
Yeah, totally. I'll let you roll an insight check
Hey.
on the skeleton.
Yikes.
Yeah, all right.
Hey. 19.
This appears to you, just from quick glance, it's pretty far away, so you can't really hear anything or really tell if there's, like, commands being given or anything like that. But you definitely get the impression that this is not a wholly conscious creature.
Gotcha.
It is... Shambling is an apt word for it.
Okay.
Kaskrin is going to just, like, undo his side dagger and raise it up in a similar gesture of, like, we mean you no harm, and shouts across the hill at them. Hello, emissaries of the Shambling Mound. We are of the Golden Tree Adventuring Guild, and we come in peace.
The two riders kind of look down at you and nod approvingly. Yes, we are in need of assistance. Will you help our glorious saint and the holy escort continue their march across this world?
Riders, what assistance could we offer?
It is not appropriate for us to speak of the wills of the holy escort and the Shambling Saint. Please follow us so that you may be present at the feet of the Prime Pursuant and at our beautiful saint and learn more of what it is our Holy One requires of you. Come! And they just, like, turn and start riding without even looking back at you.
And about how big is the whole group?
There are dozens, if not scores,
Okay.
of people. So it's not like a huge army or anything like that, but it is quite a few people, and many of them are holding these ropes and chains and kind of leading them your direction.
And is the vibe that we have a choice here still? Or is it very much like, we have a giant skeleton, so, like, you should probably start
Roll me an insight check. And I'll let you roll with advantage. That feels like something that Kaskrin would be hyper aware of.
9.
I'll put it this way.
You do know how advantage works, right?
You take the better
You take the
number.
better of the two.
Oh, what? Oh, man.
Oh, 7.
Yeah.
You can say that your interaction went very pleasantly, but there is also a large horrifying skeleton.
Yeah, we have not offended them yet, but also we probably are not turning around anytime soon.
I mean, do whatever you want to do. Player agency is important. So, do you follow?
So guys, what should we do? Where'd everybody go?
Val will kind of, like, huddle up the team and be like, hey, I don't want to influence anyone or promote bias, so please, everyone, keep an open mind and remember, we love evidence-based knowledge here. And Checkers, looking at you, buddy.
I want to go. It's cool.
We're gonna go up and
Not
talk to the
for
group.
climbing.
Do not climb. It's very rude.
Dear listeners, if you could see Jonathan's face right now as Checkers.
We should be very polite and not agree to anything right away. We have to vote as a group. Check.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm hearing ya. Definitely hearing the words that you're saying. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And Val will kind of let them walk ahead and kind of hang back with Fortunate and be like, hey, you're very fast. Can you cover Checker's mouth the, like, second he starts to speak? Because I don't want to, like, become pact bound to this thing.
I mean, Yes and no. Really, I'm mostly just interested to see if they have like a smaller one of those in the fortunate kind of like gestures at the weird platform. Because, I mean, that's fun. Not for me. I didn't know that. Interesting. I mean, yes.
We can see what they want to do. I just, again, don't want to join this group. We got our own vibe going.
But seriously, no, I don't like this. It's not. I mean, they seem whatever.
Fine for now.
So as we smash cut to Checkers. So, when we join this group, you think they'll let me climb that thing?
I would like everyone to make me a Constitution saving throw, please.
Would it be something that I would have advantage
It
in?
would be. I would say it would be something you have something
Nice.
advantage against.
Ooh, and my fancy new ring gives me +1 on save.
Hell yeah.
Mm.
Oh my god.
8.
Cashgrin with a 13.
You know how advantage works, right?
Cashgrin with a 12. Checkers with a 7. Mango with a 9.
Yowza, guys. I forgot how bad everyone's Constitution was in this group.
With the plus to my saves, I have an unnatural 20.
Ooh.
Wow.
So,
More than 2 of us combined.
Anyway, anyone who rolled an 11 or higher, that was the number you needed to beat.
I don't know what that looks like.
Didn't do it.
Never done that before.
As you guys are walking towards this strange motley gathering, the creature starts to truly tower over you. Previously, you didn't have a real good... It was so large, and the adherents were so spread out around it that you didn't really have a... Your brain couldn't put together how large this creature is. And every step you take, it becomes clearer and clearer that, oh god. But the other thing, and the thing that you were rolling a Constitution saving throw for, was that the incense starts to hit you. And the incense itself is not a good smell. It's very intense. It's not your nice potpourri. It is just, it hits you with this terrible kind of mossy, gross, almost like sharp, spicy feeling. Not only is this just hyper pungent smell starting to hit you, but you also realize why it was so pungent, because you start to smell rotting flesh.
We smell the hunks.
We smell
we smell.
the hunks.
There's a lot of ways that sentence could go.
Yes. And none in this instance are good.
Boo.
No matter how deep you go or like how stalwart you are, everyone's stomach churns just a little bit. And there's no mechanical changes, but Checkers, Mango, and Val all feel very ill.
Oh, Val vomits. You don't hold that in.
Yeah.
It's going to make it worse. Sometimes you feel better if you vomit.
You vomit, and like one of the cloaked figures like looked at you, gives a disapproving look and shakes their head but keeps walking.
Val's not ashamed at all.
No, that's fair. And even those of you who succeeded are it's bad. It is not pleasant to be here. You pass robed mortal after robed mortal. You start to see more and more ropes and chains kind of all over your heads, and this intense smell keeps just punching you in the gut over and over. And then suddenly, you hear a shout, and everything stops. And then you hear another voice yell out from behind this large creature and says, "You may approach!" And the 2 horse riders both gesture you forward and kind of bow their heads reverently. And the clear invitation is to not just approach, but walk through the legs of this creature and approach the strange platform ahead of you.
Cashgrin is just like trying to hold his lunch down and is just like stiffly walking forward. Just like, oh god, don't throw up, be cool.
I would like to share an interesting fact.
Boy, something every Dungeon Master really loves hearing out of the blue. What's up?
Did you know that frogs can't vomit?
Yeah, I did actually.
No, instead they dump out their entire stomach through their mouths to get all of the weird stuff out, and then just pack it back into themselves with their hands. So as Checkers and Mango are walking up, you just see them like stuffing something into their mouths. Just a little off screen, but they're like, I'm okay now.
No.
So
Session is canceled.
Don't regret that this is just like now all of the grossest, weirdest facts we've accumulated.
Yeah, I'm glad, the most horrific, grossest parts of this podcast are shit you have Wikipedia of real
I would
things.
like to share an interesting fact. Did you know that dwarves can't actually smell? It's a made up scent.
It's true.
Scent.
It's true. You walk under the towering legs of this creature. The creature has, now that it has come to a standstill, is not moving. It is almost statuesque. In a shadow above you, you see a huge, impossibly large, heavy chain that goes from this creature all the way down to this platform. And as you approach, you see a human creature sitting at a kind of makeshift throne. It's a little patchy, definitely old and like an antique looking, but one of those antiques where it's like, someone really should have taken a little bit better care of this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to take a closer look, I guess, at the chain and maybe the collar once we get to the other side of the creature. Are there any runes on it or anything that looks like or reminiscent of the armband that's on the Fortunate?
I don't know what the preferable answer is, but the answer is no. It is just a massive, massive chain.
And now that we're up close to this creature, can Val try to figure out what this skeleton
Is of?
Yeah.
Certainly. Roll me a history check.
With guidance.
Sure. With guidance. We need a sound drop. With guidance.
Nat 20!
Oof. Wow.
With all the bonuses, 26.
You would not have seen one of these creatures up close, probably just in this part of the world, but there is no question that this is the skeleton of a giant, and of a true giant of Ryxia. Not ultra giants.
Okay.
Not an ultra giant. Ultra giants are like 100 feet tall.
Gotcha.
Plus, but whatever this was had to have been one of the largest, like a notable specimen of giant. And you see this human just kind of just sitting very stately, prim, proper, straight-backed, thick eyebrows, clean-shaven face, also wearing a black robe with a heavy iron chain around their neck, and looks down at you, kind of looks down their nose at you. Another follower, who is also on this platform, steps up and says, "Greetings, wanderers. I am the secondary pursuant, and I invite you all the privilege of bowing before the Prime and before the Holy Promethean, to show your fealty and your reverence." I love the long pause. Everyone just looking at each other being like, I don't want to.
No, Val would know like a custom that, because there are so many different saints, there are so many different like entities to worship. There has to be like a common thing where it's like, I respect this person, saint, whatever,
Totally.
but I do not worship them.
Definitely. Absolutely.
Val does that.
But they're asking you to bow, Val.
Val does not bow. Val will do like the, I don't know, single arm across the chest.
Equivalent.
And
yeah.
like half bow. That's an Ryxian salute that says, I respect you, but I'm not your girl.
What does everyone else do?
Casper does a very similar thing where he does a salute that is meant to indicate to like another soldier that like, hey, I see you, and that we are peers, but also we are of the same rank.
I think Checkers just whispers something to Mango, and then Mango just like does this deep bow and gets on all fours.
I think we've already established that Selv will
So
bow whatever he needs
just
to
about
be.
whatever.
So he gives his standard, it's nice to meet you, bow.
What does the Fortunate do?
The Fortunate... Ooh, good question. The Fortunate also does just like a half nod bow kind of thing, where there's just like a slight, almost tip of a hat, except you can't have a hat over a large, like skeletal helmet.
And now, a word from our sponsors.
This episode is sponsored by the Braith Shattered Realities setting on Roll20. Braith is a post-apocalyptic story setting focused on recovering and healing, and helps you create campaigns centered on character growth and finding your place in life. With 18 new playable races and subraces, plus new player options, Braith is filled with tools to assist you and your players in creating highly diverse encounters in the setting. While Braith Shattered Realities can be used for any kind of campaign, it is particularly suited to games with psychological themes. If you enjoy developing character arcs and incorporating personal growth, Braith has everything you need. In this setting, you don't just fight against things, but for a better future, for yourself, and for the world you live in. Check out Braith Shattered Realities at the marketplace of Roll20.com.
This episode is sponsored by Azavar's Ancestral Almanac. Are you starting a new campaign and looking for more options during character creation? Azavar's Ancestral Almanac is a new supplement for D&D 5e that brings to life 9 new playable ancestries. Packed to the brim with captivating lore and gorgeous artwork, Azavar's has a little something for every player. Why settle for the ordinary? From sentient stone golems to gem-infused humanoids touched by the gods to adorable mole creatures, Azavar's Ancestral Almanac takes your character creation to the next level. Make your next adventure one to remember with Azavar's Ancestral Almanac. Available now on dmsguild.com.
And now, back to the episode.
There's an awkward pause. And
Give it. I
love this.
We'll just sit in that for the next 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And Catherine will also kind of move forward a little bit past that and say, like, we heard from your writers that you need assistance of some kind.
The secondary pursuant, the person standing and clearly the speaker, you can tell steps forward and holds a finger out as if they're about to chastise you. And imagine this is like a squat dwarf and looks like he's about to start yelling at you. And as you mentioned, you needed help. The Prime Pursuant just kind of lazily but firmly just raises 2 hands to stop his second in command. The secondary pursuant, this dwarf, kind of looks down, swallows their tongue a bit, sneers at you all, and says, "Yes, we are in need of assistance. The Holy Promethean, our great guide across the beautiful world of Ryxia, bringing in this new age of saints. We go where it commands, and all that it commands is part of its grand plan. And so it has led us here and led us to you. In this moment decided by fate, we require certain materials as sacrifice to the Shambling Saint. Herbs, plants, in great quantities. We have not been able to collect them. But the Shambling Saint demands it. And you four will assist us. You will be heralds. You will be errand runners.
But majestic errand runners.
Val's
You will
way
go
more
out.
comfortable with errand runners than heralds. She is not about to insert herself into a religion she has not vetted.
Fair. We require things, dire sacrifices, and we have riders out looking for them. But you who wander around, you must certainly know this place. You must help us. You must ensure the passage of the Holy Promethean. And he kind of steps back and crosses his arms and kind of looks down at you all as if he has just essentially done you a favor by asking you to do a job for them.
What exactly are you looking for?
And also, may I request some reading material of the tenets of the Holy Promethean? Or we welcome a lesson as we stand here.
As everybody else in the group is just like, ugh.
No, the secondary pursuant crinkles his nose when you say some literature. And he just is like, no, we do not. The Shambling Saint is literature, is our pamphlet.
Yeah.
We are heralds of a new age. We encourage all to join us, to give yourselves and lives to ensure the procession continues. But we do not write down our tenets. All is in service to the march.
Catherine's looking around at this point, counting the number of people around them and looking for exits. And I think Checkers has been looking up a little bit this whole time, just kind of at the Shambling Saint, and just says, "Yeah, sure, I can help, but I got one condition."
What's the Fortunate's reaction time, though? Could Checkers have gotten that sentence out?
What would happen is, not wanting to make too sudden of a movement, the Fortunate would just anime appear behind Checkers as soon as he said it, and you would feel the presence of the Fortunate. Not that would dissuade Checkers, but
I don't think that would dissuade Checkers.
No. We require, among other things in our stores, we are running dangerously low of 4 key herbs, incenses, potpourris to sacrifice. Our march continues across the continent until the saint delivers us to our final destination, wherever that may be, for whatever purpose it may be. First, dire ink pot. Second, bloodweed. Third, skull peppers. Fourth, creeping lilies. We know that these lands hold them in abundance. We simply have not come across enough of them to continue the march. And the saint requires a sacrifice of herbs.
Well, that is probably the best possible sacrifice. But Selv is going to kind of lean down towards Val.
Are those components for anything nefarious?
Roll me either Arcana or Religion check. Arcana will be a little lower DC.
Guided.
Sure.
18.
Those are definitely spell ingredients. They are rare and weird enough that almost certainly they're using it for some potion, maybe even for the incense or something.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Does it look like the collar that the Promethean is wearing has a clasp or a lock of some kind?
No. It is all actually one solid thing, which again is notable, where it's they don't let it out ever.
Okay, because Catherine is at this point is very much this is bullshit. Like, like this is a dumb cult like that is making up that we're saints and whatever, and like collecting these herbs is gonna take all day. So like, could we either say yes and then like as the procession moves, just like leave, or could Checkers potentially climb up the collar and like unlock it?
Just let it go.
Yeah, and just like, well, there's your saint.
Can't do it because the collar is solid, but like maybe just like pop out a vertebrae, you know? Just crack it.
I have an incredibly dumb idea.
What's up, Jonathan?
So Checkers is really excited at this point to help them.
Val casts Mind Link to Cass and then Selv, while Checkers continues his bargaining.
Yes.
What's your idea there, Jonathan Checkers?
So Checkers is pointing up at the giant skeleton and just going, yeah, I'll totally help you, but under one condition. Can you let me ride that?
The secondary pursuant once again kind of like uncrosses their beefy dwarven arms and goes to shout at you, but then the prime pursuant actually stands up and holds a hand out and says, if you help us, if you provide what we ask for, we would happily allow your communion with the Shambling Saint.
Val doesn't
Everyone had an intake of breath, and everyone put one finger up to be like, wait a second. Hey, guys, really quick.
Yeah. I want to try to convince him to let Checkers ride the Shambling Saint first.
That is not what I was going with this. We do not want Checkers to have communion with the Holy Promethean.
I don't know. It seems great.
No.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
I'm imagining this is all happening in
Val
Mind
is
Link.
doing the same
Is just
motion
screaming.
as Sophie right now.
Just furrowed brow, rubbing forehead. So, Checkers, you've gotten this excellent deal ahead of you.
Great.
Is that they seem very like, yes, if you do this, you absolutely can go and climb the saint.
Guys, we have a task. We have to collect all these herbs.
So the prime pursuant, again, kind of now that he is talking, looks at you all, and as you're kind of sussing this out, and makes eye contact with each of you in turn. This collection is imperative for our safe passage and for our walk to continue unabated and unhindered, and so that we all may walk in the safety of the Shambling Saint.
Can Val vibe check that? Because in the manner they said it, she is now the possibility of the prime pursuant using a giant skeleton to just be like their version of the Fortunate through the wilds of Ryxia has come across her brain.
Roll a vibe check if you'd like, and anyone can if they'd like to.
I got a 17 on mine.
21 for my insight.
So you said something specific, Sophie. What was it?
I wanted to know it because based on their phrasing, Val all of a sudden thought that this might just be like the saint spiel might be kind of a cover to just have a giant skeleton as safe passage through the wilds of Ryxia, because it's not safe like what we've been doing. It's not,
No.
So maybe this is like getting their way of getting more people who want to travel, and like it's their shtick.
I think to an extent
Everybody's got to have a gimmick.
Yeah, exactly. I think that is not untrue. I think you get the sense of like the vibe you get is that this person is parting the curtain just a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Where everyone else has been shouting about, the holy walk, our beautiful saint, the new age is being heralded. The prime pursuant is like being like, all right, look. Hey, guys. So I see maybe you're not interested in a conversion today, but I would really appreciate you giving us help. And Selv, what you kind of get is that he is taking it a step further and is saying essentially like, I don't really care if you follow us around. Please help. But I can't out loud tell you, hey, I fucking need you guys to help me out here. But like, through his air of superiority and sovereignty, you see just that little crack of like, oh, that is a person who is asking us to do something, as opposed to full religious.
Trying to convert.
Yeah, exactly.
If you don't help us out with this skeleton is going full Skeletor and will try to take over the entire land, and I won't be able to stop it.
Right.
So I'm on board, but I see my friends here are having a little bit of trouble. Can you give us 1 second, and I'll be sure to convince them to help out.
Once again, the secondary pursuant goes to say something dramatic, and the prime pursuant waves him off and sits down and kind of nods and is, of course, take your time, but no, the march must continue.
Team huddle.
All right, team huddle. Guys.
Like heads together.
Yeah,
Yes.
we're all like the fortunate and
I was gonna say,
I'm saying the fortunate, just like because the three of us are so short. Selv is like on a knee.
Yep.
And like hunched. And then I just imagine the fortunate is like bent at like a 45-degree angle because they're so tall they can just full on like lean over us.
Yes, 100%.
Guys, I know it sounds crazy, but I have a plan here, okay? I know what I'm doing.
What is your plan, Checkers?
And Checkers pulls out a little vial from Etris that he got at the beginning of their journey. And it's a really small vial, surprisingly. And Checkers just looks each of you in the eye and goes, I'm going to steal their skeleton.
Val will not.
Val will not.
Val will explain that that's a bad idea.
Checkers, the fortunate says, what is that?
What did Etris call it again? It's like a...
I don't know. It's your magic item. You gotta know.
It's not do fire.
Do small on them.
A potion of diminutive escalation?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Etris said that this would make anything smaller if they drank it.
Checkers,
Yeah?
what do you need to steal the skeleton?
Cass.
And Kaskrin almost has like that, like a sadistic glee where it's just like, again, the whole them being a saint thing is just like BS. So
Yeah.
just like, let's mess with them a little.
Really
bit.
rubbing Cass the wrong way and be
yeah.
like, fuck these guys.
Yeah, right. And so Kaskrin's like, we're doing a heist.
Kaskrin, Brightmane.
We're doing a heist.
Val is actually
Kaskrin says out loud, we're doing a heist.
And then Selv will again bring up,
Do you remember what happened when the bones became untethered?
Yeah, it was awesome. They chased me around the forest and everything. It was great.
I mean, like, either the potion works or it doesn't work. Like, what's the worst that can happen?
We waste a potion, we anger a horde of religious zealots, and are pursued across the countryside.
They won't even know.
On the other
Yeah, they
hand,
won't even know.
that could also be exactly what happens if it does work. We anger a bunch of zealots.
There's a lot of ways this will go badly for us. I vote no.
I think we have to do what we can to make sure that thing does not get,
I'm
out
sorry,
of
Sel.
control.
I am voting no to the heist.
Oh, yes. I agree. But
I do think we should help them.
I think what we still need to do is whatever we can to make sure that thing stays under control, even if it means keeping it under their control.
But what about our control?
I don't know if we have the ability to control that.
We got the herbs.
Jonathan, what creature has Checkers tried to adopt previously and it failed? Because Val would like to bring that up at this moment.
That time you tried to find a tiger and it stayed in your bed.
The
and
time
it
you tried
really
to bring
fucked
like the
everything
lightning
up.
flesh creature home and
Yeah.
it like, really didn't work.
The ostrich bears didn't really work out so well that time either. So he's not got a great track record.
Okay, but this time, I'm sure.
It's called
We
practice.
know how to do it. We have the potion. Come on, we'll have a giant. We'll get to Deepwood so much faster. You know we're
That's
running out of
not
time,
true.
right?
We are wasting time right now
You
discussing
guys are,
this.
once again, to reiterate, doing just fine on time, actually. Surprisingly, you guys have
We're
pretty
not
much
gonna
made
get
all
till
the
we're on
choices
a
you
moon
needed to.
glove. The bones is gonna be untethered forever. I mean, there's so many problems we can solve right now.
Val breaks from the group. Goes right up to the Prime Pursuant.
All right, so the two of you.
All right, checkers,
And says-
go. I'm gonna cover.
Thank you for giving us this task. We agreed to do it. No conditions necessary. Please forget about the communion. We'll be on our way to get those herbs for you, and you'll be right here, and we'll come back later. And then Val turns away and starts walking out.
So, these 4 items. Which, hey, look, there are 4 party members.
Wow.
Isn't that
Whoa.
wild?
Incredible.
I have them written down on 4 note cards. I'm throwing them in the middle. Each of you are responsible for talking about either, I know about this because of this, and therefore we have to go to this spot and harvest it in this way and blah, blah, blah because of backstory reasons. Or you don't have to say why your character would know how to harvest it. You can just simply describe why your character was put in charge of grabbing this thing. Now, there will be dice rolling involved, and it is not to say whether you succeed or fail. It is more about how quickly you accomplish this. This is obviously taking some time out of your forward progress to Deepwood. It is just kind of, is this going to take a half a day? Is this going to take longer?
Val is in charge of finding dire inkpot. This is found. The rivers of Ryxia have this interesting geological feature, just weird parts of it where instead of like offshoot streams that occur, there's still streams, but they go underground.
Mm-hmm.
And then they come back up and form like aquatic caverns.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
And that's where dire inkpot is found, and it becomes this very specific ecosystem that mimics sea life, kind of.
Ooh, cool.
But it's like a weird freshwater sea life, and we'd have to swim down. And they're not very like long channels to get to like the cavern, and each cavern could be small, like where checkers would have a hard time fitting in, or like massive.
Right, just depends.
Yeah. The ink pots are found in a plant that looks, if you were to cross like geodes like amethyst and anemones.
Ooh, weird.
Like so like when you first look at it, you think it's a stone.
Cool.
But as you look and there's like a slow circulation of water, you see it move a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And there's like kind of a symbiotic plant that looks like almost like an underground willow or octopus.
Ooh,
tentacles
weird.
that like kind of grow off of it.
Horrible.
They don't like move or they move with the water.
Yeah.
And they kind of like reach out a little bit and like grab a fish or bring it in if the amethyst anemone can't reach.
Mhm.
And to get the ink pot, we'd have to like pull those tentacle plants off.
Cool.
And harvest
So,
ink pots.
what would you like to roll to successfully harvest these things or find them? Could be, I heard maybe some dexterity, kind of sleight of hand kind of situations. Could be maybe even something constitution-wise to just power through this thing attacking your hands as you are ripping them off. It could be even a nature check to properly identify them or something along those lines.
Let's go with nature because let's say that the caverns do typically have to be of a certain size for these, both the anemone and octopus plant to be there and be mature enough to have dire ink pot.
Okay, perfect.
11.
So it takes a little bit of doing, but you successfully harvest
Hey.
some of the dire ink pot. One down. Not a smooth operation, but you get it done.
Val's hands are left tingly.
So, Checkers has been selected to harvest bloodweed. And it is a plant that is known specifically for its difficulty in harvesting and requiring a lot of sleight of hand in order to successfully retrieve some.
Yep.
And bloodweed is particularly interesting because, unlike most plants, it actually has a circulatory system, much like mortals do. And when you look at bloodweed, it's these kind of reddish-brown leaves. And if you look closely, you can see what looks like actual blood running through the capillaries in these leaves. So bloodweed is this bunch of leaves that grow all along the ground, all connected to a single bulbous pulsating root underneath the ground that is very akin to a mortal heart. So it's very difficult to harvest because if at any point you cut something or something breaks off, the blood, quote unquote, just kind of starts spurting out, making the bloodweed useless.
Yes, absolutely.
So Checkers has been put in charge of this just because of the sheer difficulty in making sure that retrieving it doesn't cause any sort of breakages or any part of the plant to become useless.
Yeah, you're doing plant surgery, basically.
Right, exactly.
I love that. Give me a sleight of hand check, please.
17.
Oof,
Nice.
Very good. So that one, you go very quickly. Checkers is able to relatively quickly find and dispatch a large amount of bloodweed.
So Caspian has been looking around for a while, trying to find some skull peppers in the vicinity. And these are particularly difficult to find because they grow primarily where there are like small groups of animals and like different wildlife nests, particularly where animals have like lived and died.
Ooh.
Because skull peppers, similar to other plants, need a certain combination of like nitrogen, potassium, but they also need calcium as part of their like nutritional mineral
Very cool.
needs. And so they thrive in places where like animals have died and like their bones have gone to the earth, and these plants are able to take the calcium from those bones. And so it takes him a while to like look for these kind of small nests, but eventually he's able to find like these small brownish, greenish, like almost tubers that are like kind of like poking out of the ground. And he tries to like pull some of them out, but they're like, you know, they're basically like rocks because of what they eat. So you try and like yank these out of the ground from the roots.
Mm-hmm. So what is that? What are we rolling?
Athletics.
Yep, absolutely.
Natural 1.
Ooh, not good. So you find it. It is just backbreaking work. Like, oh my God. To make this trip worthwhile, you have to get a lot of these, and hoo boy.
Yeah, these things just like, their root systems are all calcified. Like, it's a huge pain to get them out. And so he's just like yanking on these things, and like the roots break off, so he misses some of them. It takes a long time.
Because they are like so specific, does normal harvesting have like a super specific tool?
Like otherwise you would have like a special shovel or hoe, but Caspian doesn't have that.
Because we're not skull pepper farmers, we don't have that. We don't have like the hoe that's actually a pick or something.
Right.
Yeah. I would say usually like when they're cultivated for consumption, the bones and everything are placed in such a way that the tubers actually grow closer to the surface.
Oh yeah, that's
so
cool.
They're easy just to like kind of pick out. But like these, they kind of search for wherever they're able to find calcium. And so it could be 5 feet underground.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Cool.
So, Selv is looking for the creeping lilies. So I have two different ways that I was kind of thinking about doing this. So, the first one is that, Selv kind of starts moving off to find this stuff and locates a farm that's actually a creeping lily farm, and just goes there and for like 3 copper pieces, they'll give him like 8 bushels of creeping lilies, and then he just kind of. But
you're here for the creeping lilies, are you?
Okay, on second thought, maybe this isn't the place to go.
I don't. Somehow worse vibes than the creepy death.
But
you'll be back. They always come back.
So, in looking for the creeping lilies, typically what you would kind of expect is that they are slowly growing and expanding outward, kind of these plants, and that's kind of where they get their name of creeping lilies. That's only actually part of it. The other part is that typically for components, you actually need the flower portion of the creeping lilies. Mm-hmm. So most of the creeping lilies look like long grass or long leaves that are kind of like stretching out, and they just kind of grow. But the creeping lily portion of it is that it kind of responds to stimuli where if something gets too close to it and either knocks into or brushes against the leaves of it, the creeping lily portion the lily portion can close and will actually bloom then somewhere else.
Oh, cool.
And so you actually have to be able to get through the lilies with minimum amount of contact so that you can get close enough to the flower to be able to pick that portion of the flower. So that is what Selv is going to try to do. It could be a couple of different roles. I was thinking either acrobatics to maneuver his way through and avoid vines, or this might be a stretch, but insight to know if he touches the vines and the plants at this end, that will actually move the lily closer and easier to get to at somewhere else.
That one's fun, so I'm going to say yes.
Okay.
I like that.
Selv is just herding lilies to the other side.
Right, it's like chucking rocks on the far side to like get them all that direction. Cool.
So I will use insight to try to maneuver the lilies to get to them. 15 on the die for a total of 21.
Ooh.
Nice.
Selv, you were the first one back by a lot with just armfuls of these lilies. Shortly thereafter, Val, you return with your geodes, only slightly stung by the horrible octopus things.
And I'm just wet.
And wet. But such is the demands of science. And then you have...
Checkers has these like two pulsating roots in his hands.
Only
like,
lightly
are they
bloody.
They're like big like tubers or bulbs, right?
Yeah,
but then there's
but
like
hearts.
all of these like vines or veins coming off of it.
So they're pulsating in veins.
Checkers did heart surgery.
Yeah.
And they are.
I just want to
blood-red.
emphasize that there's a lot of blood-filled strings
Yes.
attached. To
Yes.
Is there
Checkers looks like he just did a murder for sure.
Is there sound also? Like if you're holding him, it's like
Checkers is just for sure doing that.
And then finally, several hours after you're back, Selv, David, what state does Cass either return or does the group find him harvesting?
He's just like tired and dirty. He has like a small, armful of like 12 of these dumb plants. And it's just like covered in dirt. And it's just like, freaking skeleton.
So this takes almost like 8, 9, 10 hours that you guys were out grabbing stuff, whatever. Again, you still have plenty of time, but it ended up being a pretty sizable thing all told. Night has started to fall. The Fortunate is with you guys and, also helping carry some of the heavier things. And the Fortunate kind of looks out and nods at you guys and says, I think we found our way back. And you guys look, and in the distance above the horizon, it's not full night yet, but you still can't see very well. You see not the outline of the saint, but you see unmistakably what must be 40 plus feet above the ground, where two eyes would be, just two strange reflections. Not quite like a cat's eye, because there's no eye there, but still as if there is some sort of light being reflected. You approach, everyone lets you through, all of the attendants, all nod appreciatively, knowing that you return with a great sacrifice, the great offering for their great saint. You approach the large stage. Several fires have been built, so it is well lit, and you can see the towering skeleton just kind of lit up to the shin, and you know that it towers far above you. The Prime Pursuant looks down at you and says, "Thank you. You all have done a great service. Another day, another beautiful day as we step forward to this new age. Now, small one," he says, looking at Checkers, "would you still like to commune with the saint?"
Absolutely.
Checkers, before you go, you have to give me that. Val just holds out her hand.
the potion.
Yeah. Mhm.
There's Junior.
That's not what I wanted. Val puts Junior gingerly and lovingly on her shoulder. I want the potion. You
Fine.
cannot steal a skeleton.
Fine.
Thank you. Is it the same potion?
Yeah.
You can have it back when you come back down.
This is stupid. I don't want to do this anymore.
Do you climb the large skeleton?
Checkers does, but he's just kind of sad about it. He's like, he like plods up the skeleton and just like,
Stomping
just
skeleton.
stupid skeleton, stupid tall skeleton. Ugh.
I'm imagining instead of frog hopping, he's just on his back, on his legs,
Yeah.
like back legs, just walking very
Yes.
nonchalantly,
Yeah.
completely parallel to
Yeah,
the ground.
correct. And he like gets to the top of the skeleton and just like sulks. It was a stupid view.
Is Mango up there with you?
Mango is up there having the time of his life.
The Prime Pursuant looks down at you all and says, again, thank you all for this great offering and for your great sacrifices. And Checkers, you see a large skeletal hand
Hey,
reach for you
nice.
and try to grab you. And that is where we'll end this week's session. Yay!
Should have let me steal their skeleton.
Yeah.
I have something very fast to share, if you don't mind.
Mhm.
I remember when I ate that pomelo and I got pomelo all over my hands. Arthur has spent the last like half hour just licking every corner of my hands, and he has not stopped.
Pomelo.
Hands are covered in Arthur's.